When you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
What do we have here? He dropped a bombshell today. Terrence Howard. I'm going to have to take this one back to the beginning. Terrence Howard says Diddy tried to touch him. Let's see what he had to say, man. I know people are reporting about it, man. I'm Krizz Kaliko. This is about to be crazy. I'm the only multi-gold and platinum rapper, singer, songwriter, producer reacting to videos on YouTube. We got funny people and we got hot topics. This is Krizz Kaliko Reacts. Come on. I am the king of the world. Y'all like, share, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. Let's see what he had to say, man. Let's take this back to the beginning. I got to see this whole thing. We'll talk about this as it rolls on.
You know, there's a short life in
Why do you think
world.
that is? What the creative side is?
Well, because losing out money, you got to take drugs. You're going through so much to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far. You know, who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what Heath had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. You know, but when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, this was what was interesting to me. This part right here. I saw a post where a little piece of this was playing, and I was interested in him talking about losing your man card as a traditional heterosexual man. Losing your man card and what that meant. Let's see.
You give up your ability, your right to being a man.
Okay.
A man don't take it. A man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
That's what I heard in college. I was studying I had a college course called Sociology at a Black Family, and he was talking about men are givers by nature, women are receivers. And I think he's talking about everything. If he's talking about everything that constitutes being a man, I believe he's talking about even receiving it, being not, how do I say this on YouTube but not get in trouble? He's talking about being not heterosexual. I'll say it like that. I think he's talking about that, and I think he's talking about even succumbing to fear and even not doing what traditionally most men expect men to do. We'll talk about what that is in a second.
I think you're saying.
Now I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time.
Yeah.
You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something,
Fear.
for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things. When you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it.
So he's not even just talking about men. He talked about women, giving up your womanly right. I think he's talking about, because you kind of got to guess, I guess, when you listen. I think he's talking about transitioning to another sex. I think he's talking about that. I think he's talking about, like I said, if you're operating out of fear, this isn't just a sexual thing, your sexual orientation. This is also giving up your manhood out of fear, like, for any reason, you're giving up your man card, giving up your woman. He even said giving up your rights to being a mother. I think that would even be talking about like abortion and things like that. I think that's what he's on. And I don't know if you guys agree. You talk to me about it in the comments. Let's keep going now.
It was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
Wow.
Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man.
Wow.
So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card.
It's kind of like, what are you? What are you? And I think he's trying to say that you should have that figured out by the time you become an adult. You know, he's not saying that age, but that what are you? I particularly know exactly what I am, and I would not give my man card up in any way, in any way. You know what I'm saying? And people are probably going to get upset with me. And that's what this channel is for, so we can talk about some of these topics that are, presented to the world right now. But I would not give up my man card. Whatever way you think, if you think it, you're right. I would not give up my man card in that way, even at whatever you're thinking right now.
What?
Man, I mean, one of the things you're seeing, you went to a whole different place.
Sorry.
No, I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head.
Even with their spirituality. Yeah, because they made some choices, I believe, at these Diddy parties and these other things. I've been in the industry for 25 years. There are several times I had to walk out. I'm not going to say I never participated in anything ever earlier in my career. It wasn't nothing crazy. I never gave my man card up, I can tell y'all that. But, earlier in your career as a really young man, you know what I'm saying, the world is wide open to you when you are exposed to these things. I never went to any Diddy parties or nothing like that, but I seen some crazy stuff. I ain't participated in nothing crazy, but I seen some crazy things, and I would imagine it'd be hard to come back from that.
Things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy.
Yep.
And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role.
Yep.
They get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it.
Yeah, man.
So
that's what it is. That's what. So if I could say anything, that's how I would sum it up. Your integrity in any way, whatever you decide that you are is what you are. I guess is whatever. But you're giving up your integrity to get money, and that's as a woman or a man. You know what I'm saying? Also, shout out to the PBD broadcast. I don't know what this dude is. I've seen this guy who's hosting this before. Shout out to PBD broadcast, whose material this actually is. You know what I mean? For putting this up and interviewing Terrence Howard and having the guts to put this kind of stuff out.
Place. What benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary.
I never heard that
stat. You don't trade that in, no matter what.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there, and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to f you. Woo. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh.
Now that's allegedly, and let's be honest with you, that's allegedly. That's her opinion. Unless he said it, that's not exactly what happened, but that's what I would have been thinking too. I'm gonna keep it real.
Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back.
Come on, man. Talk that talk, Terrence Howard. I haven't heard anybody talk like this. This is how I tend to, I respect everybody's opinion. And I don't down anybody for their opinion or their choices that they make. But this is a man who's speaking from my own heart as a dude that I'm a regular schmegular cat from Kansas City. And there's nothing wrong with us having this opinion either. You know what I'm saying?
Difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept.
Come on.
So always be the man in the room.
Come
and
on.
That's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that because the man card means everything.
I had no idea we're going to go this direction with the podcast.
Yeah, I bet you did.
This is absolute. But listen, we've talked about it. We've had a lot of the guys on to talk about this stuff. Are you done with Hollywood because of this specific reason?
I'm still working. I still, I haven't made the money necessary to do all of the other stuff. So I still have to go and do the chitlin circuit. I still have to do the job that I need to. But eventually, I've done what I set out to do, which was to redefine the universe. I've proven what I've set out to do,
Wow.
and that's why I have all the patents. Whether they evaluate it or not, that's up to them. But I've done the work and finished it. Now I can go on and do whatever else we need to do.
Interesting, dude. Woo! Very interesting, man. Very provocative things that he's saying. I'm gonna keep it real. If this is what you do, man, I'm not downing anybody for what they do, but guys who are, live a traditional lifestyle and were raised by men. I think that dudes, that it has a lot to do. When you're raised by men, I believe that you will be a traditional man. Let me be honest or fair to anybody who chooses anything else, you know what I mean? But I think that guys who are raised by men, we will have a very similar opinion to this. And I'm okay with it. And I'm okay with people being mad because most of the time people haven't seen my opinion. I'm okay with people being mad. If you're saying that I agree with this, I don't think it's anything wrong with it. You guys, this is a deep one today. Y'all tell me what you think. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about this one. We just started changing the format of this channel. We're going to do a lot of comedy, a lot of hot topics. So we starting out kind of hot, man. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll holler at y'all on the next one. Cali, baby. See you. Bye.